one, I understand why that was also like chalked off, but the Berman one would have made it 2-1, which meant this game would have been 3-3. I know football, we can't hypothetically say, oh, this would have happened, but I think the Berman one in the first leg changed the momentum. I think the Katie McCabe one was a red card and would have meant she would have missed the next game, which would have been massive for Lyon if Katie wasn't playing. But like, yeah, and I think for Sonia Bonpastor, like, she's come under a lot of pressure lately, hasn't she? And we said it on the show last week that I think she's got a lot of credit in the bank. But next year will be interesting to see where they go from here, because it feels like a little bit of an Emma Hayes hangover, you know, with regards to, look at Arne Slot. I don't want to make comparisons to the men's game, but like, Arne Slot won the league in the first year. Sonia Bonpastor goes unbeaten, wins a treble. Second season, the wheels are falling off a little bit.
Yeah, look, there's no patience in football whatsoever. And I have to say, if I was a Chelsea fan right now, which I'm not, obviously, but I would never shut up about this, because, to be honest, yes, I know you say you can never predict these things in football, but a goal disallowed, a red card that should have been, and these little decisions, they do add up. And it's like, I feel like this also takes away from Arsenal getting through to the next round. Like you said, nobody's been talking about Arsenal playing, and I don't want it to be a situation where Arsenal go on and win the Champions League, because they are going to, obviously, and Chelsea fans are out here saying, oh, but it was because of these decisions. So it's not good for the losing team, but it's also not good for the winning team either, so they've got to sort this out. Anyway, we could talk about this all day, but let's also talk about Manchester United, because I am genuinely gutted for them. I watched that second leg performance and they fought for their lives for most of that game. The problem was they were just hanging in there, and you felt a goal was coming, and in the end it wasn't just one.
Yeah, I mean, I had the beauty of being out in Munich. I've never been to that stadium before. It was amazing to be there, 25,000 fans, and, you know, Man United in the first half looked good. I mean, they scored early. Mallard got that goal, but they were really causing a lot of problems, especially down the right-hand side. With Miyazawa, they were brilliant, and I thought Rolfa had her best game I've ever seen her play. Just partway in a quiet game, but you're right. I think in the second half, like, I asked at the end of the game with Mayor Letizia and Mark Skinner when I interviewed them, I said, like, was there a tactical change at half-time? And to be honest, they both just kind of said no. It just was like we just ran out of gas. But fair play to Mayor Letizia, because they said they don't make any excuses. They've had a lot of tough games of late, but if you are the best and you want to be the best, you're going to have a busy schedule. They're the Manchester Derby the week before, but their squad, Umar, they had 4 outfield players on the bench, 2 goalkeepers, and then you look at this Bayern Munich team, you know, being able to bring on Ariana Caruso, Tani Calva started in the game, they were good, Bayern, but I do have a feeling that, I know people are saying, you know, let's be proud of this Man United team. I agree with that. And I saw Farrah Williams was talking the other day about why is everyone coming after Mark Skinner, and I agree. I don't understand it. I'm like, I don't know what Mark is supposed to do with this team. I don't get it. Like, Ella Toon's not been fit and healthy. Alessia Russo moved on. I know it was a while ago. Mary Earps has moved on. Look at the squad he's got, and they've made it to the quarterfinal in their first ever time being in the Champions League. Like, I'm not sure another manager would get that out of a player. So I did feel like when I interviewed Mark at the end of the game on Disney Plus, I did feel like he was very upset. You could see, and I felt it from him. It's always difficult when you speak to managers and players after a game, and fair play to them, but I did feel for them, and they run out of gas. Like, Dolman scored a fantastic goal, you know, Vigersdorfer scores, but it wasn't until like the 81st minute, 84th minute, you know, and Bayern had bigger strength and depth. You know, Georgia Stanway was good, but Ket as well had some fantastic deliveries from Bayern, but I think deservedly so. Now Bayern go and play up against Barcelona.
Surely they don't win that.
Yeah, but you know the first game of the season, they 7-1. I did that game on comms, and I'm like, I think it'll be a different game to the 7-1 game. So yeah, commiserations to Manchester United, but the men's team have to invest. They have to. Like, Mark Skinner and the players deserve better. And I'll be the one to say that, because I think people are reluctant to really say the reality. Similar to Real Madrid, who we'll come on to in a minute. Like, when you don't invest, Umar, gone are the days where you can have a couple of good players in the women's game and they'll win you a trophy. Like, you have to have a good squad now.
Yeah, and look, it was shortly after we recorded last week that it kind of emerged they were thinking about assessing Mark Skinner's position, and I just thought, what? Now? I mean, there have been times when I think that Man United squad have lost games that they should have won, but I don't think now is the time for it, because they just haven't got enough players to play these games. Like, how can you be, I don't know, like you say, I just worry that they would get rid of him, bring in another manager, and actually realise, the manager was never the problem all along. But I know we've spoken about this before, the fans are not all on his side, so yeah, we'll see. And obviously now we've got some big semi-finals coming up. You mentioned Real Madrid there. I mean, it never felt like a contest against Barcelona, and you have to give them credit, but when you look at that Barcelona-Bayern Munich clash, I hope it's closer.
I think it will be. I mean, I just want to also talk about Real Madrid just briefly, because I did that game at the Camp Nou. The new Camp Nou was unbelievable. 60,000 there, brilliant atmosphere. I mean, Alexia came off like late in the game and they were singing her name like Messi. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was unbelievable. And I was saying, why would she leave this situation? You know, and I was talking to a lot of the Barca fans, and they're reluctant to let her go. They don't want her to go, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, 6-0 in that second leg, Uma. 12-2 on aggregate. Hansi Flick was there, the Barcelona manager. Fiorentina Perez wasn't there. No real investment from the Real Madrid side. Caroline Weir didn't even get on the pitch, which I can't get my head around. Linda Caicedo's the only player really they have, and she signed a contract till 2031. So I'm thinking to myself, where are they going from here? They're the only team that don't play at the Bernabeu for that. So more needs to be done, but credit to Barcelona. Caroline Graham-Hansen, best player on the pitch, unbelievable performance. And yeah, Bayern in the semis, and then Arsenal have got Lyon,
which they're gonna win.
I mean, deja vu from last year, right?
Yeah,
exactly the same. Home leg at the Emirates first, second leg away. Lyon are good though, Uma. Like, this is a different Lyon side for me. Lindsay Heaps is going to be wanting to end her Lyon career before she gets to Denver Summit. I mean, no better way to end it than winning the Champions League. And the fact De Mornay was on the bench and they made those changes and they still won the game, and she came in and scored. Like, I know it took 2 extra time, but unbelievable.
Yeah, to be fair, Lyon have got something about them, and they were actually someone who I thought possibly could go on and win this at the start of the season, so I'm worried. But, you know, Arsenal is never over till it's over. Who do you think is going to win the whole thing? Now that your Chelsea prediction is gone.
It's gone. I did a whole brackets, Uma, with Alex Scott on air about a month ago, and it went out the window because I said Man United were going to beat Bayern. I just had a feeling because they were in form at the time.
They were.
But I have to say Barcelona. It's still set up for an Arsenal-Barcelona final, as we know. I mean, obviously, I hope Arsenal, but I just think Barca, like, they just have too much.
It's hard.
They
to
do.
see it.
I think it'll be hard for Arsenal to do it again if they come up against Barcelona. Now, it might be Bayern. You never know.
Who knows?
You never know.
That would be a crazy.
You never know. Like,
result.
I find it hard to believe that Barca will lose, but no one thought Arsenal would beat them last year, so you never know.
Also, just pointing out, now that Chelsea are out, I get to pick your next Disney tattoo. I think that's what we decided.
We did decide that, actually, which is fine. Because remember last week I thought you were asking me to get a Chelsea or an Arsenal tattoo, and I was like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think you do get to decide.
Yeah, wait here. I'll come back with that next week. I've got a few to choose from. But that was our roundup of the latest Women's Champions League action with Disney+. Watch every match live only on Disney+.
Women's Football Roundup on TalkSport 2 with Disney+. Home of the UEFA Women's Champions League. Watch every match live only on Disney+. 18+ subscription required.
Thank you, Uma, for joining me as always. This is the Women's Football Show on TalkSport 2. I'm Leanne Sanders, and coming up next we'll chat to Laura Harvey.
Match days busy, weekdays quiet. When it comes to advertising, consistency wins. If you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right moment, there's a smarter play. At the TalkSport advertising event, you'll receive a custom campaign for your business, event-only rates and free creative built to drive a response. Up your game. May the 11th to the 15th. Reserve your seat now at newsrsvp.co.uk/radio. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Start being heard. On average, Rift tax refunds get their customers $3,000 back. Search Rift tax refunds today.
All hail the king, heavyweight icon Tyson Fury.
The king has returned.
Takes on knockout artist Arslanbek Makhmudov in Netflix's first big UK fight night, live from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Let's get it on.
A monstrous co-main event clash. Conor Benn stepping into the fire against Regis Prograis.
You think I'm scared of you?
Streaming live April 11th, only on Netflix.
If you don't like that, change station.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Ooh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Up to £200 credit to cover leaving fees. More information and terms at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
Who
are you going for at Aintree?
The favourite.
The favourite.
The favourite, without a doubt.
This Aintree Festival, everyone's going for the free favourite pull-out in the sun. It's jam-packed with top tips and form guides for all the runners and riders. And a free £2 in-shop bet with Coral for the Grand National. Get your free favourite pull-out in the sun every day of Aintree. T's and C's apply. 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org.
When life gives you that hump day feeling, Deliveroo gives you the fuel to power through with a top-up shop delivered in as little as 20 minutes. Keep the fridge full with your favourite essentials from Co-op, Morrison's and Sainsbury's. And even better, our freshness promise means your fresh and chilled groceries arrive fresh or you get your money back. Deliveroo, now just got even better. Geographical restrictions, T's and C's and fees apply. Delivery times vary. See app or web for info.
With LV, I can get my car insurance from just £299. Just the price I'm after right now. And if I'm hit by an uninsured driver, I won't lose my no-claim discount because insurance is simple when it's me and LV. No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com. 10% of new customers paid £299 or less July to December 2025. Uninsured driver promise is non-fault accident only. Other vehicle and driver details required. LV General Insurance is part of Allianz.
You're listening to the Women's Football Show on TalkSport 2 with Disney+. Every Women's Champions League match live, only on Disney+. Now, I'm delighted to say, as always, I had the luxury of getting my friends on, that are former players, current coaches, and all that. And I think it's a hat-trick of shows again. I had Luke Spindlehurst on last week. Laura Harvey is joining me from Seattle in her new gaff. Finally, you got a new gaff you bought somewhere. How are you doing, Harves?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Crazy couple of weeks, but looking forward to this week's game, and then we get a little FIFA break, so I finally get to have a bit of a breather.
Yeah, you've had a really good start to the season. Like, talk me through that. Obviously, last year, better season than the year before, all your players back fit and healthy. Sophia Huerta I had on my show last year when she was over in Lyon, and I loved the girl. I mean, her delivery is unbelievable. Like, what's it like having her back, and can you analyse the season so far? Now you're third in the table. I know there's only 4 games been played. You've had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, we had a brilliant pre-season. We layered in a little bit of a different way of the way we wanted to defend and attack a little bit, just structurally. And part of that was getting Sophia a little bit higher up the field, which we've reaped the rewards of. We did a load of work on it in pre-season, and, you know, as you know, sometimes that doesn't really transfer itself into the league. But yeah, we've had a good start. Obviously, winning on Orlando was a huge thing for us, a little bit of a monkey off the back because it's been a couple of years since we've won there. I think the last time we'd won there was 2022. So it's been quite a few years since we'd won in Orlando.
It was quite unique, wasn't it? Because the end of last season, you played back-to-back games there, didn't you? One in the league, then in the playoffs.
Yeah, so that was our first game back. It was like, okay, and part of it is you want to get it out the way because it's the furthest travel for us. And March tends to be not terrible with the weather down there, but we got just a bad day because we had the whole thunder and lightning, 3-hour delay, and then we had major travel issues coming back. Disappointing going down to Portland. I mean, playing them so early isn't great either because it's such a good game. But
just for my listeners, Harbs, I want them to understand it's a little bit like Arsenal-Tottenham, like Cascadia rivalry, Portland versus Seattle, your team. Just to give a bit of background for people not familiar, it's like Arsenal-Tottenham.
Yeah, it's Arsenal-Tottenham, but with I don't know what it is, 3-hour drive. That's the closest we get. But yeah, it's definitely the biggest rivalry in the league. Just from day one, we've both been in the league since the start. Like I said, they're the closest team to us. I think LA and San Diego probably pushing for that true rivalry because they're probably the closest to each other. But yeah, it's always a great game, and it had everything in it, except we just were so exhausted from all the stuff that had happened in Orlando, we couldn't quite turn up. So we put that one to bed pretty quick and then went out to Spokane. We're having to play out there because of our stadium being a World Cup venue. They're laying grass on it. So
yeah, Lumen Field is where you guys usually play. And I tell you what, I love doing games there because I'm a bit of a nerd now, I guess, since I retired, because I'm looking at where I can watch the game from. And Lumen Field and LA are like two of the best vantage points to be able to see everything. So yeah, they're relaying the pitch, aren't they? That's why you guys have moved.
They're putting grass on it so that it can host the World Cup. And the women's national team are here next week playing Japan. So they're going to be one of the first to actually play on the grass.
Will they keep it for you after?
Yeah, so it stays all the way through till mid-July, I think. Obviously, the men's World Cup, they're hosting some group games. They've got a round of 16 and a round of 32 and a round of 16 game here, so that'll be great for the city. But while that grass is being laid, we're playing our home games in Spokane, which is in the same state, but it's a 4.5-hour drive. So,
listen, I love this, right? Because a lot of my listeners are going to obviously be following the World Cup, which is in Canada, Mexico, and America. And like, just to give a bit of background, not that I'm a geography teacher, where you are is one of the furthest parts of America, isn't it, right? You fly every single game, apart from Portland, sometimes you might get the bus. Like, I don't think people fully realise just how big America is. Now your home games are in Spokane. You're flying to your home games, aren't you?
Yeah. So we've had 3 home games there. 2 of them we've already played, and we actually stayed out there for the second one, which was great. And then we've been back in Seattle this week, and then we fly tomorrow and play Saturday.
Wow. I mean, it is crazy because I just don't think people fully understand, like, just how big America is. And obviously the different weather changes. There's been a lot of talk about that with the World Cup. Now, obviously you've started the season really well. Like, you must be delighted. You know, you've got game coming up at the weekend, but like the last game against Racing Louisville, like there's been a lot of players this year that stood out for me, right? But you must be delighted with players like Mondesir, because I asked you about her last year. I love the fact that she's like, I remember I was at your training ground and she was learning English in the other room. Like, people don't realise what goes on when players move, like, and everything that comes with that, do they? But she started the season really well for you, hasn't she?
Yeah, she ended the season well too, to be fair. And then, you know, with different circumstances, obviously she's Haitian, so with the immigration issues in this country right now, she didn't go home in the off season. She actually stayed in Seattle, which I think's been tough for her. But I think from a football perspective, it meant that all she needed to do was train and prepare for the season. And she started off brilliantly. Yeah, she's really impacted. Obviously got the reward of her goal at the weekend. But she's been one of the highlights. She was one of the highlights of pre-season. And we were really fully healthy and fit and ready to go. And then we picked up a couple of knocks right before the start. And then Mia Fisher got a knock in the first game. So we've had to like delve into the depths of our squad already. But they've stood up and been brilliant. You know, we had that one blip in Portland, but everyone knows why. And since then, you know, the Kansas performance, first half, we were phenomenal. Louisville, similar. I thought we were brilliant in the first half, and second half, we sort of just managed the game. And, you know, with a young group, sometimes that can be hard. And we actually got punished last year. We were 3-0 up against Chicago at home and drew. So they're sort of learning things that I can't teach them until they experience it. So experiencing it last year, learning from it, and then seeing 2 games out has been brilliant for the group and a great learning experience for them.
Yeah, I mean, your team, like, is a very young team, but obviously we have to come with Jess Fishlock because, like, the game against Kansas City, I mean, when I saw the game, I wasn't on doing the game, the goal that never stood. Like, the ball, I messaged you after the game, I was like, just so you know, in case you haven't seen it yet, the ball was over the line. Like, it was madness, but I'm sure it wouldn't have annoyed you as much because you won the game 3-0. But those are the things, I mean, there's a lot of talking points in my show coming up later on where we'll talk about, you know, the Chelsea game against Arsenal, both legs and the decisions and all that. But, like, the good thing about the NWSL is they have VAR, don't they, Harbs? No goal line technology, but I feel like the VAR is a positive because we don't have that in England in the WSL.
Yeah, and some stadiums do have goal line technology. We just don't have it in Spokane. So the VAR is great. In our league, it's quite interesting because it depends what broadcast network you're on how many camera angles there are. And in our game against Kansas, there was less camera angles. And then in our game against Louisville, they had a really similar goal given, but they had a better camera angle of it. So it's part of the development of our league of how can we make it where it's all very even and there's no competitive advantage depending on what broadcast network you're on. But having VAR, we've had it now. I think this is our 3rd season of having it. It's definitely changed the game, and I think less things are missed. But still, to your point, I think I'd have been raging if we hadn't won the game. But we had multiple chances to score more goals in that first half too. So, but yeah, I said to her the other day, she's like Benjamin Button, Jess. She's like aging backwards.
I know. We talk about her a lot on the show because I always say when people say it's the hardest person you play against, I was like Jess Fishlock because she's annoying. And I got my only ever red card, 2 yellows against Jess in Seattle at your old stadium. You were the manager. Jess went down like sack of potatoes. I didn't even touch her and I got my second yellow, but it was, it was smart of her. She's so annoying to play against. You're like a mosquito that doesn't let you breathe. That's what she's like. But the next game...
I always say she's the most deadliest when she's got her hands on her knees and she looks like she's tired because that's when she's plotting her next move, But yeah, she's been brilliant, and obviously, all of her OGs have now retired, and she's the last one standing. But she's taken on a brilliant leadership role this year, and I think the thing that Jess has really evolved with as well is it doesn't matter what her circumstances, whether she's starting, she's coming off the bench, whatever it might be. She's just very level with the group, and when you've got a young group, they look to her a lot. And she's very influential in that way. So, if she can pop up with a couple more goals, we'll be well happy with that.
Yeah, she's been brilliant already this season. Well, Harves, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck for the weekend. I can't wait to see you in person at some point soon. Get some rest. And thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
This is TalkSport's Women's Football Show on TalkSport 2. I'm Leanne Sanderson. Coming up next, I'll be joined by London City Lionesses assistant coach, Becky Langley.
TalkSport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. Move up through the gears every morning with top of the range sports edition, ABS, story breaking news, and more gold talk to the gallon. Plus a stellar lineup of super celebrity sports guests as standard. TalkSport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK.
Last night, I was watching an episode of Amadeus where Mozart
exploded, launched another Real Housewife during
Shiv Roy's wedding night, where she asks Tom for an open
sandwich, Chicago beef filling, cooked by a chef in a
pastel Regency gown. Oh, quite steamy.
You can now get Sky, Hey HBO Max, Disney Plus and Netflix together in one subscription. Only with Sky.
Requires Sky Stream and Sky Ultimate TV subscription. Minimum broadband speed of 30 megabits per second recommended. 18+.
Who are you going for at Aintree?
The favourite.
The favourite.
The favourite without a doubt.
This Aintree Festival, everyone's going for the free favourite pull-out in the sun. It's jam-packed with top tips and form guides for all the runners and riders. And a free £2 in-shop bet with Coral for the Grand National. Get your free favourite pull-out in the sun every day of Aintree. T's and C's apply. 18+ only. BeGambleAware.org.
When life gives you that hump day feeling, Deliveroo gives you the fuel to power through with a top-up shop delivered in as little as 20 minutes. Keep the fridge full with your favourite essentials from Co-op, Morrison's and Sainsbury's. And even better, our freshness promise means your fresh and chilled groceries arrive fresh, or you get your money back. Deliveroo, now just got even better. Geographical restrictions, T's and C's and fees apply. Delivery times vary. See app or web for info.
Next.
Hi, just these, thanks. Did you do cash back?
Just need to check you're not a robot first. New security policy.
Okay.
How many traffic lights can you see out the window?
2?
No, that's wrong.
Right, well obviously I'm not a robot.
That's what a robot would say.
What a load of malarkey. Smarty keeps things simple, like 80 gigabytes for £10. And on a rolling monthly SIM plan, you're free to leave any time. Less malarkey, more smarty. Search Smarty Mobile.
You're listening to the Women's Football Show on TalkSport 2 with Disney Plus. Every Women's Champions League match live, only on Disney Plus. Now I'm delighted to say Natasha Flint is joining me all the way from Denver. I'm in Barcelona. I've been on about 5 different continents, different time zones in the last week or so. Tash, how are you doing? I know all too well you'll feel me when it comes to time zones now you're in Denver.
No, yeah, I'm good. Changing time zones week in, week out for different games is crazy, but yeah, I'm getting used to it, I think it's like slowly getting there after being here for about a year and a half now, but yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, before we come on to your time in America and in the USL and now NWSL, I want to take you way back to when you were at Manchester City, because I was saying to you before we started recording that I remember when I was in England and Jill Scott and Steph and all the City girls came and they said, oh, we've got the next Wayne Rooney at City. And I was like, yeah, all right, we're still going to beat you when I was at Arsenal. But like, what was that like growing up at Man City?
You know what? It's actually weird because I was speaking about it the other day and I was actually, it was in an interview and I was saying that I had the best opportunity in life could ever give me with like football, being in Man City at such a young age and like becoming pro at such a young age and probably having the talent I did have. Like I took it for granted. That's one thing I do say. Like I took that probably for granted years and years ago, and I think it took me a long time to get where I need to be now. But hopefully I'm proving where I need to be now, back in the NWSL for the first ever time and back with Nick. But it was honestly, it was. If I could go back time and don't take it for granted, I really would go back time. When I say that, I just messed around. I just joked about, messed about too much and didn't really take it serious. And I had everything on the plate just there, playing, starting games at such a young age and playing with Joe Scott and Tony Duggan and Steph, like scoring past KB all the time. I just felt amazing at that time. And I was like, look at me. And I think, yeah, one thing I definitely do hold my hands up and say I took it for granted. So, I mean, to the younger generation, just even when you're that young age, just get your head screwed on even at that age and just focus on football then.
Oh, I love that you've been so open and honest because I think it is important. Like, what was the turning point then, Tash, for you that made you think, you know, now I kind of, because you're 29 now, right? Like, so you've been around, you've done a lot. You was at Blackburn, Leicester, Celtic, Liverpool. Like, now you find yourself in America. Like, what was there a turning point? Was it a coach? Was it just something that happened within you?
I think it was something that happened within me, to be honest. I've been such a big home girl. I've come from Man United as my first ever team. Was there for many, many, many years. And then my first pro team was Man City. And I think I've been such a home girl in a sense, like, again, never took school serious. Didn't really take anything in life serious at that age. And again, I would go back and honestly, I would sit school again.
I think we all would, though. I think I'd do better. Like, I did all right in school, but I think as I got older, I think I care more about learning, about life, and like, even like museums and stuff, I used to find them boring. Now I'm like, oh, I want to go to a museum.
The thing with me, and I think because I'm street smart, I've got the street smart. And you know what? I'm standing on this, but I would rather be street smart than any other smart because it gets me. I get challenged in life, and I think like if I want street smart, I wouldn't be able to know what I'll do or cope with that. But I just took stuff for granted, and I think I just would go back time and do things really different, honest to God. Like the experience I've had in football, and the turning point was probably when something hit me where I was like, I'm ready to leave home. Like I'm ready to do it. And I think going to Leicester was my first challenge, and then going on loan to like Celtic and stuff like that, and then coming back to home with Liverpool. I was like, once I finished at Liverpool on my loan again at Celtic, I was like, I'm ready to take on the world. And I think I'd been offered to come to the US so many times at such a young age, and been offered to play in Spain, in France, in all these different countries at 15, 16, 17 years old. And again, never took the opportunity that I probably should have took. So I think like it really hit me probably 2 years ago when I've signed for Liverpool. It really hit me then, like, I'm going to take the opportunity. And it was probably going to be hard for me to jump from being at Liverpool to an NWSL team and no one really knowing my background. And I think going to the USL was a stepping stone for me to get to here where I feel like I do deserve to be, and hopefully I'm going to like show what I'm capable of in this league.
I mean, I think you already are, mate, because I mean, it only took you second game, you're scoring, and like, obviously I'm going to be looking out for fellow English people to do well. You know, not that I'm being biased, but I was buzzing when I heard. So what was that like then? So I know you was in the USL with Tampa Bay, and Jade Moore's a good friend of mine as well. So I spoke to Jade last year when she was there with you, and I was keeping a close eye. I know Christina Uncle as well, that's part of that. So like, what was that like when Nick gave you that call to come to the NWSL? Because I'm sure when you went to Tampa in the USL, it's not like you've gone there to just relax in the sun, you know, not play, because it's serious. Like the USL is a serious thing. Like, but I'm sure you never went there thinking, oh, do you know what? This is a platform to get to the NWSL. But like the fact that Nick was with you at City, like, isn't it mad how timing can be of the essence?
Yes, 100%. And I'm one to believe like everything happens for a reason in life. And it is actually honestly so crazy how he was my coach at Man City, and we'd had such a great bond at Man City, and we both have spoke. When he did give me that phone call, I was like over the moon about how he was coming to Denver. And as soon as he said he was coming to Denver, I was like, he's ringing because he wants me to come to Denver. And do you know what? I was kind of shocked, because when me and Nick did work together and I worked under Nick, we had the best relationship ever. But again, I took things for granted, and I was young then, he was young then, and he said a couple of times in interviews and a couple of times to me, like, he feels like he's failed me, and that was something that popped up in an interview last week. He feels like he failed me as a football player, and I also do feel like I failed him a little bit as like a coach. And I think now we've been given this second chance in life and this opportunity, and our bond has just like picked up from where it left off. And I mean, I couldn't have been more grateful for the opportunity that he's now given me again. And how he still believes in me is like mind blowing to me. I wasn't like bad, as in the sense like he'd never want to work with me again, but like I just was a naughty little young girl who never wanted to go to school and just wanted to always be on the streets with my friends and stuff like that. So like I couldn't honestly be more grateful to work with him. And like you said, I think I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to fit in here in the NWSL, but I do know this is definitely the league for me. Here on the WSL is definitely the league for me for sure. And I think the first game was a little bit of a write-off. It was tough, 10 players. We just grinded and worked hard. But the second and the third and the fourth game, I'm kind of getting into my like stages of where I can. And I think I keep saying to Nick and Mana, I've still got probably 4-5 more levels that I can still get to from where I am now. And that's just going to take time, and it's going to grow. And hopefully I'll be in the NWSL and hopefully at Denver for a long time.
I love that, Tash, because I feel like both of you, like, it's so important for growth, isn't it? To say, do you know what? We both could have done this better, but look at us now, you know? And I think fair play to Nick. I love Nick as well. He's a top guy. And you sound like you've had a lot of self-reflection. I mean, NWSL for me, best decision I ever made was move to America. Genuinely, I love America. Hence the fact I feel blessed that I still get to work there now. You scored your first goal in your second game against the Gotham FC, like the current champions. Like, what was that like for you? Like, 'cause at one point you're probably thinking, you sound like the type of person, not just be like, oh, I'm delighted to be here. Like, you know you're good, and that's okay, right? And you know you can even get better. But like, what was that like, scoring your first goal?
It's like you've just said there, like I do know I'm a talented footballer, and I think like I still don't take anything for granted day to day like I used to. And I think I didn't expect the first goal to come in the second game and against the champions. But I was just so grateful, honestly. I was actually more pleased the fact that my goal has come in my second game, because once I score one, I score more. And it's only gonna be amazing for me, and it's only gonna contribute, hopefully, to us getting 3 points on a weekend and pushing forward and getting better as a team. And I think it's not an individual sport, it's a collective sport. And I think all the players that have been in and around me is like pushed and made me work hard and worked hard as well for me to get that goal against Gotham, and then to get an assist as well. I've had 1 assist, 1 goal in 4 games. Like, I'm happy with the path that I'm on, and I think there's more to come and more for people to see from me as well.
Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly. Thank you for just like opening up to me and being so honest, because I think a lot of young players can really learn from that, because, you know, you've self-reflected and now you're flying in the NWSL. Long may that continue. Good luck for your game at the weekend, and I'll be watching closely. Enjoy your day, mate.
Much for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Becky, Tash, Laura, producer Uma, and of course your lovely selves for listening. Don't forget, if you miss any of the shows live, you can listen back on the TalkSport app, or you can download TalkSport's Women's Football Show podcast. Our next show is next Monday, when England will be about to play their crucial World Cup qualifier against Spain.
Ultimate Sports Radio.
What a moment!
This is TalkSport 2.
Europa League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Happy Meal just got a cosmic boost because the Super Mario Galaxy movie has landed in cinemas, and Mario hasn't come alone. There's a whole galaxy for your little ones to discover. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 4th of May from 11 a.m. Includes 1 pre-selected book or toy while stocks last.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Ooh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Up to £200 credit to cover leaving fees. More information and terms at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
McIlroy, Masters champion. You think it doesn't get any better than that? But they thought that before. After Scheffler, after Matsuyama, after Tiger, all 5 times. Because that's the thing with the Masters. Just when you think there's nothing left to surprise you, it shows you how wrong you are. It's Masters time. Watch every moment live on Sky Sports, streamed flexibly on Now.
18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling may be subject to change. All terms apply.
It's that time again.
Yep.
It's getting warmer. The nation is getting excited.
Sure is. It's the Trust Ford Used Van Clearance Event.
Get on the road this April with an approved used van. We have lots of nearly new vans in stock, including the all-electric Ford Transit E-Custom, Ford Ranger and Ford Transit, all in our used clearance event. Ready to drive away today with Trust Ford now. With 6 months warranty. No wonder there's Trust Ford fever.
Let's go before the event ends.
Visit your local Trust Ford dealership or trustford.co.uk.
Visit Trust Ford now.
Get ahead of the game every supercharged sporting Sunday on TalkSport with Travis Perkins. Make the warm-up a part of your weekly matchday ritual.
The game is underway.
And get an unrivaled preview of all the upcoming unmissable football action.
Absolutely first class.
With expert predictions, pitch-perfect analysis and a top-flight lineup of guests guaranteed. The warm-up with Max Rushton and Barry Glendenning. Sunday morning from 11 on TalkSport with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade.
Big competition in your market? Not enough bookings? When it comes to advertising, are you just hoping customers find you? You're listening to Talk Sport, where winning matters. Now imagine your business advertising here. Join us at the Talk Sport advertising event in May. You'll receive a custom ad campaign for your business, event-only rates, and free creative ready to elevate your brand. Register now at newsrsvp.co.uk/radio. Stop hoping customers find you. Start being heard.
It's another far, far away day of fairy tale football action on TalkSport. So let's take a look at today's magical lineup. In goal, in a curious move, it's Alison Wonderland.
Fantasy football's great.
At the back, of course, it's Radu Dragonsheen.
But nothing beats the real thing.
Ricardo Calaferi and, lucky number 6, Gabriel.
TalkSport.
That is a fairy tale goal!
Where football magic lives.
And finally, their manager, Eric Ten Hagrid.
Kickoff
on DAB+, online via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker.
Kickoff live. There's no other word for football.
Pump it up and stick it in your ear.
Award-winning live football commentary. Pass, shoot, score. Football in motion. Kickoff live
on TalkSport 2.
It is a first European quarter-final in 30 years for Nottingham Forest. Vitor Pereira takes his team back to his old club tonight for the first leg. Forest are in Porto and the stakes are high. With the whole game live on TalkSport 2.
Chilafaya has to score or Nottingham Forest will be European quarter-finalists for the first time in 30 long years. Oh, and he slips and he balloons his penalty over the crossbar, but Vitor Pereira's side are European quarter-finalists once again.
Certainly can't take it for granted. Don't ever let people stop you dreaming from, what could be an incredible season for us.
It's what a generation of fans have been crying out for and other generations have been waiting for 30 years.
Laid forward again, Igor Jesus taking it on, rifling it into the bottom left-hand corner. That is some finish. Forest are still on the European trophy trail.
Everyone feels we're moving inexorably towards a Forest Villa semi-final, but I think Porto might be able to edge them.
We know that is very important, the Europa League, of course, and for sure will be a fantastic game.
A massive night ahead for Nottingham Forest in northern Portugal. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. It is Porto against Nottingham Forest, and it is live and in full here on TalkSport 2. Forest's 5th major European quarter-final, their first since 95-96. The prospect of European glory getting closer and closer, but you could argue over 2 legs this is their toughest test in the Europa League campaign yet. I'm Joe Shannon. The former England striker Leanne Sanderson is alongside me. We'll get a word from Leanne in just a moment. First, the team news. The big news for Forest: Chris Wood is back, 6 months out with a knee injury, and he returns tonight, his first appearance since the 18th of October. There are 9 changes to the team that won at Tottenham in the Premier League on the 22nd of March. Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White are the only survivors. Stefan Ortega is back in goal. Dominguez, Abbott, Murillo and Morato form a familiar-looking back line in the context of European competition for Forest this season. McAtee, Yates and Gibbs-White in the middle, Backward and Doy and Wood up front. The Forest bench: Sells, Aina, Milenkovic, Williams, Sangaré, Hutchinson, Hudson-Odoi, Igor Jesus, Luca and the 3 youngsters Whitehall, Sinclair and Hanks. For Porto, there are 7 changes from their weekend draw with Famalicão in the Portuguese Primeira Liga. The significant names in the lineup include 41-year-old Thiago Silva, Jan Bednarek, formerly of Southampton, and the ex-Norwich forward Borja Sainz, who scored 18 league goals last season in the Championship. They line up with Diogo Costa in goal, Fernandes, Thiago Silva, Bednarek and Zaidu Sanusi at the back. Fofana, Rosario and Gabri Veiga in midfield. Borja Sainz, Moffi and William Gomez are the 3 up front. Kickoff is less than 10 minutes away. It is a lovely sultry evening in Porto, about 22 degrees. Short sleeve shirts everywhere you look. 2,500 Forest fans up in the gods, Leanne Sanderson. Hopefully they will enjoy tonight, but the big news in the context of the team news is that Chris Wood is back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've definitely missed his goals this season, although Igor Jesus has done a really good job in this competition, joint top goal scorer, but this is a player in Chris Wood. 20 Premier League goals last year, 3 assists. They've definitely missed him, and it was a matter of, like I was saying before, when we were at the game we saw him in a leg brace. We're thinking, when's he going to be back? And I just think he's a massive loss to this team, but the fact that he's back, I thought he'd just be on the bench, Joe.
Well, that is the bold call, isn't it? How bold as a former striker yourself, 6 months out, and he's thrown in from the start tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's massive, and I think, you know, the doctors, they all, duty of care of the player is the most important thing, and I think they wouldn't have put him in if he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's probably been training with the team longer than probably we know. So I do think, you know, from the start, be interesting to see, because what it is, when you haven't played for a period of time, it's getting up to the speed of play. You can train as much as you want, but nothing really, you know, is like playing especially in a quarter-final of a Europa League. So, you know, I think he's obviously ready. I'm looking forward to seeing Gibbs-White. I love watching Gibbs-White. I think he'll obviously miss out on the World Cup squad, unfortunately, but McAtee's been good in this competition, and they have to rotate, Joe, based upon the weekend as well.
And we'll get a word from Leanne on Vitor Pereira in just a moment. We'll hear from the Forest head coach ahead of kickoff as well. We are underway very shortly on TalkSport 2, so let's get the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2. Brought to you by Final One Standing from William Hill. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply.
And Lee Phelps has got all the latest odds for us. Chris Wood back in the starting 11 tonight for Forest. Lee, how do the bookies see it?
Yeah, we've got a price boost on Chris Wood as well. Just a quick mention before we start that after day one of Aintree, we've got a cracking night of sport away from the football. We've got the darts in play, we've got the Masters in play, we've got an epic boost on the Palace game as well. That's Palace to score in the first half, even money from 4 to 6. There's also a price boost on a fantastic night for the Premier League teams. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace, all to win, has been boosted out to 12 to 1. But on this game, I mean, Porto are the slight odds-on favourites to win this leg, 19 to 20. The draw's 21 to 10, just over 2 to 1, and Forest are 3 to 1. I mean, Porto are a good home side, aren't they? And they've got goals galore in them, so it's going to be a big ask for Forest to go there and win.
Thank you very much
but that
indeed.
Price boost I mentioned to you, Chris to score any time on his return. With impact sub is 7 to 2. Porto to win and 3 or more goals in the match is priced up at 11 to 8 as well. And just a couple of other goal scorer markets on the Porto side. William Gomez, he's got 11 goals in all competitions, 3 in this competition. He's 3 to 1 to score at any time tonight and 13 to 2 to score first. So I think Porto win this with both teams to score.
Thank you, Lee. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on TalkSport 2. Brought to you by Final One Standing from William Hill. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Terms and conditions apply.
You are listening to the Europa League live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book Europa at enterprise.co.uk. Well, the Estadio do Dragão is the spectacular venue tonight. Holds over 50,000. The floodlights are on. In fact, a light show taking place at the moment. It is mostly full. Kick-off just a few minutes away. So let's hear from the Forest boss, Vitor Pereira. A quarter-final in Europe alongside a fight for Premier League survival, remember. And he admits he's still trying to find a balance between both competitions.
The priority is to win the next game, and the next game is tomorrow. But we know that it's very important, the Europa League, of course, and it's very important to keep the club in the league, and I need to find the balance between the two competitions. This is the only way. The only way to compete tomorrow after 3 days against Aston Villa. The players, they have to feel that they are important. They have to feel that they have the qualities, they have the conditions to compete and to help the club in this moment.
That is the Forest boss, Vitor Pereira, ahead of a massive night of football across the TalkSport network, it's worth saying. Bologna against Aston Villa is live over on TalkSport. They'll also have updates of Crystal Palace in the Europa Conference League this evening. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in here on TalkSport 2, but it's definitely a night to download our free app if you haven't done so already. Free, as I say, and easy to download, and then you can swipe between both our stations at your leisure. Once we're done tonight, Forest fans, you can have your say on TalkSport on the Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. 03717 223344. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, that is. A big night of football to come across the TalkSport network. Leanne Sanderson, we saw Vitor Pereira getting a very warm reception from the Porto fans before the game, understandably so. He won 2 league titles, one of which was an unbeaten league season, which is quite remarkable, presented with a commemorative shirt before the game. But his focus will be very much on what happens with Forest. Do you believe that he's capable